Jamie Steelman with Team Steelman Mortgage. Thanks for joining us again today. We are going to be talking to a really good friend of mine today, Megan Ferrell. I think y'all are going to enjoy hearing from her, and I'll let her say hello and introduce herself real quick, and we'll start chatting.
Hey everyone, thank you Jamie for having me. I'm super excited to be here and your platform of listeners, and I always tell people I've been a great friend I've met through the business, and it's just grown into a better friendship, and you're just a great person. I'm so glad you had me on your show today. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So yeah, and tell us a little bit about how we met. What do you do for one of your things that you have
Well, I always
on?
joke around. I do wear a lot of hats. The hats have kind of become my brand, so I always have them on. But I do literally in life wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about. I know we're talking about Unstoppable today and how I started that. But we met through Bell Law.
Yeah.
We have friends that are realtors, Tim Collins and them, and we kind of all met together and just become friends, networking in happy hours, and just doing business, and then a friendship. That's what I love about doing business with friends or meeting people in business and becoming friends. It's just a great thing about networking.
Yeah, networking's awesome. They're awesome at Bell Law, so make sure and check them out. They're really great. They cater to us, meet us where we need to for our clients, do everything, and great company in the business for sure.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, personally, kind of your life, how that stuff goes. And, I got a big, huge blended family and it takes flow charts and stuff to figure it all out.
I get it. We're the same.
What's your home life look like?
Well, my home life is, I got 4 kiddos. Well, I have 4 of my kids and then a bonus kiddo. Me and my fiance actually getting married soon.
Congratulations.
I think we're, closing in on that date very soon. Yeah. We've had to move it a lot with our busy schedules. Usually we're one of those that we're planning stuff, but when it comes to our personal stuff, we always have to shift it around the other things that are going on in life. But we have, I have 4 kiddos. I have a 19-year-old son, Grayson, 14-year-old daughter, Cadence, 11-year-old son, Braylon, and 7-year-old son, Cohen. And then Hope is my bonus daughter, and she's 19. So we have 2 that are out of the house, essentially. Yeah. They come back home when they're not in college or at their apartments and things like that. And, so we just stay super busy. I'm a sports parent. I'm always either at a practice or sports. So when I'm not doing business stuff or building my brand, I'm literally at a ball game of some sort, a baseball field or a basketball court.
Cool. That's what I was going to say is what kind of sports do you get to watch? Basketball and
baseball. Gotcha. And my daughter plays volleyball as well. So we a plethora of them, to say the least.
Yeah. Well, I've got all the kids, then we've got grandkids now.
Oh my goodness.
They've just started. So my oldest granddaughter is now playing ice hockey, which has been really wild.
That's awesome.
I mean, we didn't have that growing up, so it's completely different. And watching her at 7, so she's like real girly girl at home. She'll dress up and do all kinds of stuff, and then she gets on the hockey rink and she's like throwing people down and chasing after the. So it's crazy, but it's so awesome. As
she goes from princess to warrior.
Oh yeah. She got like a little shirt at Christmas that said like. Sweet and nice, except on the ice, or something like that.
Yeah, that is so good. So that's a good brand.
Yeah,
good marketing there. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's great. It's a lot of fun. So as you get to have those older kids, you said the oldest is 19, right?
19.
So,
yes.
Yeah, you'll get there 19. Eventually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you. Hopefully not anytime soon. But he just got his first apartment last week, so I'm proud of him. Working hard, doing good. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well. Let's talk about some stuff that you have going on.
Absolutely.
So tell me just a little bit about Unstoppable, what it is, where it came from, and
Well, I always say I try to do the Cliff Note version, but when you're passionate about something, you really have to kind of narrow into the facts here. So I'll go to Cliff Note with you a little, as much as I can anyways. There's 2 sides of Unstoppable. There's the monetization side, which is called Unstoppable. And that's where I do speaking, retreats, help people with their brand, their image, help people break through limiting beliefs, all the things like that. Wow. And then we go through the philanthropy side, which is my passion and I think what I'm put on this earth to do, which is Unstoppable Women. And we help working single moms that can't get government assistance. We help them through Christmas. Oh, wow. We do all kinds of stuff with give back days and things like that. So that is really what I pour into. And one day I want to make it bigger, larger than life, in my big dreams there. So I'm super excited about what's going on in both platforms, and it's just God's blessing both. And then of course, I work with Bell Law and do their marketing and sales, but personal, and what we're talking about today, Unstoppable has definitely taken off, to say the least, in the last year. And sometimes I've almost faster than I can keep up, but that's a blessing. That's a huge blessing. Yeah.
What kind of got you started with doing that? Is there anything personal, or is it just something on your heart, or kind of where did that come from?
Unstoppable started. The seed started not realizing what it was about. My son's 19. It was probably 17 years ago because he was almost 2. when me and his father got a divorce, I had to go back to work, and I was just trying to get government assistance for daycare.
Yeah.
And I went into, the office where you're going to qualify for everything. And they're like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Since you're working, you make $100 too much.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh man. I mean, at that point it was like heartbreaking, because I'm like, I'm trying to work, trying to provide. I just need help. I'm not asking for anything but, government assistance for daycare. And they were like, I'm sorry, we can't help you. And I just kind of felt let down by the system of,
Sure.
and stuff. So I thought, if I'm going through this at this age, there's got to be a lot of other women that are going through this as well. And it's almost like they encourage you, like, not to work. And there's nothing wrong if you can't, but women that are trying to work and they can't get assistance because they do need the help. So fast forward to 2021. I'm laying in bed one morning, because I always have the best thoughts when I'm just quiet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? It's time that I do something with this thought, this seed that was planted a long time ago. And I got up and I was like, I'm going to do a podcast, and I'm going to highlight on people that have went through hard times, talk about how they came through it, to other people to listen to and encourage them, particularly maybe some single moms that are going through it. And then I kept just kind of growing from there. I'm like, okay, this is Unstoppable. This is what I'm going to do here with this side of it. And then Unstoppable Women, this is what I'm going to do with this side of it. And then we're going to help the working single mom like I was 19 years ago, and help these women be able to kind of climb out, because they're not going to tell you they need help. These women are very, very prideful, in a good way, not in a like bad way. They're just not going to ask for help. They're going to be dressed out of a box. I know I had name brand. I bought at Goodwill.
Okay.
I joke around, if I'm a millionaire, I'll still shop at Goodwill, because I love me some Goodwill.
You can find some deals.
You can find some deals. I love to thrift. But I mean, I looked like I had it all together. In my bank account, I had $12 in my bank account. I remember one morning waking up, and I tell this story a lot. If you've listened to me before, you probably are like, oh, here's the story again. But it's the truth. I was getting ready to go to church, and I was go to the Experience in Murfreesboro, and I live in Centertown, and that's a good little haul with gas. And I remember looking at my account, and I'm like, shoot, I've got $12. Literally, I say the word $12 because that's what I had in my account.
Gotcha.
And I don't get paid, and I'm not asking anybody for anything, but I need to make it to church. How am I going to do this? And I remember I just was like, okay, God, you got this. And I went to church. Somehow something came in the mail. The money came in. It always showed up, always took care. And, but I remember thinking I was so prideful I was not going to ask for help. And I know these women are still out there. So I've been on all platforms. I've been on the side that you needed assistance, you couldn't get it, that I needed assistance and did get it. And then that I don't need assistance and I'm able to give back to others. And that's where I'm falling. And some women are like, well, I kind of go back and forth. I'm like, well, don't we all? You know, there's some days where we're like, oh, we can help the world. And then the next month, hey, we may be like the women that we're helping. But the thing is that there's always people that have it worse than you, and you just need to have a servant's heart to be able to give. And that's essentially what Unstoppable is.
Wow. That's incredible.
Well, thank you.
I mean, really, I'm sure a couple things popped in my head. You know, I'm sure the two platforms, like you said, they're kind of one, but then two separate. They probably,
we separate them. Yeah,
they probably cross a little bit too, though. I'm sure you use some of your speaking to connect people that can help with different things.
We do free counseling through the Unstoppable. So if a woman comes in and she's been through, there are a lot of women that we help have been through a lot of domestic abuse or verbal abuse.
Sure.
And we have to kind of, they have to figure it out themselves, but we kind of give them a platform to rewire their way of thinking. Yeah. So these women that come in, they've lost their identity. I mean, they've been, you know, they feel like they're losing at life. They're not. There's some wins. If we look, there's always a blessing. And we just kind of show them, you know, how to heal their trauma. And that's why I, shout out to Greg Pease. I went through his NLP training and was able to get certified in that, because I'm going to be helping women. I want to make sure I'm having the tools that are right tools, not just Megan's opinion, you know, going into it. Yeah. And I think experience is good, but I think you also need to kind of educate yourself when you're helping other people deal with grief or trauma or whatever. And a lot of these women, including myself, had past trauma that they did not heal from. Okay. And that's why we keep making the same mistakes. And a lot of it's either in childhood or something that they go through. And we help them kind of find the root of the trauma and file it so they can process and move on from it. And they're not making the same repeated mistakes down the road. Yeah.
And I bet that's, you know, once you get somebody to open up and you can talk about that kind of stuff. But I even know just from my experience, and I can't imagine being a woman with children and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, just going through that, you were talking about scared to ask for help, you know, monetarily, but asking for help, you know, mentally or what you're going through, those challenges, because then people always feel so insufficient.
They do.
You know, they feel like they don't know how to ask. I'm sure you run into people that don't know how to ask for the help, what type of help they need. And then probably people that do want help, where do they go? Yeah. maybe they're completely willing to take the help, but they don't even know where to start because they're having trouble just getting through day-to-day stuff, let alone figure out who do I go to for help, and do I call the place that's real helpful, or do I call somewhere that doesn't want to help? And then I get so discouraged that I'm like, I'm not even going to, nobody's going to help me, so I'm not going to ask anymore.
You're exactly right. And we have came a long way with mental health, and I kudos people for that, because it's people like you and me and other people that are talking about it. Like, it's okay not to be okay, right? Sure. And it's okay to have those people that you trust you can go to and like, man, I'm not okay today, And even like, you coach people and you encourage people, there's still days that we're not perfect and we're going to be in our feelings too. And we have to have that place where we can go, whether it's your faith or your pastor or your friend or your husband, wife, whatever. You have to have that safe place and know that it's okay. Normalize it's okay not being okay. And there's everybody's like, well, you always got a smile on your face. Yeah, I do what you see. Like we're in social media, right? So we can put on what we want to put on. I mean, sometimes I'll do a real raw post like, hey, I have a bad day.
Sure.
But we live in this filter microwave society where we think everything's okay all the time. And a lot of times it's just not. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And you usually figure it out. But we have to teach people that it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to not know how you're going to figure it out. Do a day at a time. I tell some of the women that I coach, like, if it's just getting out of bed and putting makeup on or just getting out of bed.
Yeah.
It's a win, right? Yeah. Look for the wins, the blessings there every day. I say that a lot because it's true. Look for the wins. Yeah.
And I know everybody's different, and, grief and depression and struggles in life, they're not all equal. No. And everybody has different ones. Right. But, I was talking to somebody yesterday just about our cause and, Ryan passing away and just trying to get through that grief. And, I kept saying it took me a year or two to realize one of the best things that helped me was to share and to talk about him, and to, the first couple holidays that we went through, everybody, and my wife tells me now, everybody was like, oh, don't bring that up in front of Dad. I don't want to talk about this. And it was like, that's what I needed the whole time. Yeah. I needed to talk about it. And I think when you're going through struggles, sharing it with others, realizing you're not alone, realizing there's people that have been there, realizing there's people that might be there today. And, it's been kind of the biggest eye-opener for me, just even sharing it on this format and other formats, that people come up and say, I'm not in a position where I can talk about it yet, but I'm so glad that you do, because I can mention it to my brother, or I can mention it to whoever. So I think it's just so important for everything with mental health and grief and depression, is just to have somebody to talk to. Just to realize, hey, other people have gone through this. Other people are going through this. And, it's huge to talk about things. Yeah.
And when they're ready, they know where to go. Right. So if there's a, God forbid, a parent out there that's having grief from losing a child, they know you're very vocal about that. They can come to you and ask you how you got through things. And like, it's a day by day thing. Grief is a day by day thing. You have days where you're awesome and great, and the next day it's like, it feels like it just happened. And I always tell people that is so important. And the best thing that you can do, if they're okay with it, is to keep their memory alive. Yeah. And I love what you do with Ryan's foundation, to do with the give back of the blood and stuff like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's made such a difference in just our family. But then after it's gone a year or two, and we're kind of like, this is a great cause, we're saving lives, we're doing all these things, the stories, the people that I've met, Ryan was only 21, and I meet people that he met and had full relationships with, even as a kid, that I didn't realize. Little things that had impact on them moving forward. And then the blood drive people coming together. I have stories come out of that all the time that I'm like, man, if we didn't do this, where would they have put that? They've put that belief in, like, hey, this is a really great cause, and I love coming here every year. My family does this together. And I'm like, we're providing something that we didn't even intentionally set out to do. Yeah. We just wanted to give back and to keep Brian's name, memory alive. Yeah. And there's actual people that are helped by it. And that's what's awesome. Really cool. And I can't imagine some of the stories you have with Unstoppable of people that have came up to you probably after you spoke or after you've helped somebody, whether it was, I don't even know, do y'all do things anonymously sometimes?
Oh, yeah. We, one of my favorite things that I do, and granted, we're not a 501c3 yet. I need to get my butt in gear and get it done. I really, we start it and then we get sidetracked with doing other things when you work a full-time job.
I understand.
But still, we're registered with the state. We've done everything we legally need to do to make sure we can show people dollar for dollar where things are going. But I do want to get the 501c3 because there's more money there to help more people. Sure. Because right now it's a lot of tithe money and then the one fundraiser that we do a year. But what my favorite thing that I love to do is to take Visa gift cards and have them in my bag or just have money in the Unstoppable account. And when I am either out at a restaurant, which happened actually 2 weeks ago, I see a mom and she's, you could tell she's stressed, and she's asking the waitress questions about the menu and how she can save here and here and here. And I'm like, okay, God, thank you for putting me here. He always puts me where I need to be. Like, I could be wanting to go somewhere else, and I'm like, somehow I end up there, and then that's why, right? So it's those divine interventions, or whatever you want to call them. And I'll go to the waitress, and I'm like, hey, we have a foundation. This is what we do. I don't want her to know. I just want to write a note, and I want you to give it to her. And it's usually uplifting, like, I see you, Mama, you're doing a good job. Because I never want these women to feel like charity cases, and we pay for their meals, or we'll see them log into their bank account in line. I've been there. I know what that looks like to log in to say, am I going to have enough money to cover this? Or you're adding up your cart. Been there, done that. I know what it looks like. And that's when we go by them and like, hey, we have this thing, Unstoppable Women. We love to find mamas out here just killing it. You're killing it. Here you go. Be blessed today. And we had them a Visa gift card. And that's just things that we do on the go that they will never know who we are unless they look us up as Unstoppable Women, or they'll just be like, oh, that was a little angel blessing today, or whatever. I don't care what they think it is. I just want them to feel seen and heard, and that we see them. Yeah. And that we do a lot of that. And then, of course, we do our Dress for Success Day, where we get gently used clothes. We help them with their interview. We did headshots at our last one. Okay. We help them write the resume. Some of them don't even have an email or know how to do a resume, so we'll do that for them. Yeah. And then what we don't give away in clothes, we'll give to like a local charity, like Amelia's Closet, or there's a thing called God's Closet. I think it's what it's called in Manchester. We've done. So we always give away everything, whether we give it away that day or we give it to somebody that does something similar to it. And then now we have people all the time saying, hey, we got clothes. Where do we take them? I'm like, I don't have a storage building yet for it, but this person, give it to Amelia's Closet, or give it to the God's Garage, or whatever, because they do the same work essentially all year round. We do it once a year for the Dress for Success Day. And then we do like back to school giveaways. And then our biggest fundraiser is our Unstoppable Day of Hope, or Night of Hope, whichever we do it, day or night. Yeah. And it's where we have the country artists come in and play. We sell tickets to it. We do like a gift basket, like a silent auction, and that's our main fundraiser. That's what helps provide for those kids at Christmas. So we were able to help 5 moms one year, 4 moms the next year, and hopefully next year. We really want to shoot for 10, but we know times were hard this year for a lot of people, and we were just thankful to be able to help the moms that we helped. But we were able to help several moms this year with their Christmas. And not only do we do it for their kids, we buy them something too. So we get them a little basket, because a lot of these moms don't ever get anything. And if they do, they feel mom guilt. So we kind of do that for them. Like, here you go. Here's you a nice little Christmas present too. So so we take pride in that.
That's really, really cool. I think it's neat to find out about, because I know you very well, but I don't know a lot about Unstoppable. Yeah. And just the other day, my wife was cleaning out her closet. She's got like 2 bins of clothes, and she was like, I don't know what to do with these. So now I've got at least, there's one more thing I can say, hey, check into what they're doing. Yeah. They probably know somewhere you can take them to, or when that date comes around. Yes. That kind of stuff. So it's really cool that people are out there doing that.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate you reaching out. And we had a lady reach out this morning, hey, I'm cleaning out my closet. I'm like, I don't have a place for it, but I can get you a place for it. But in May, if you're listening to this, if you're cleaning out your closet around May, we do need your donations then, because we're going to start doing it again. One time a year. We'll probably do it this year in May.
Okay.
This year.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. So tell me a little bit about that, because you said you've been there, you haven't been there. Like you said the 2 words, mom guilt. Like, how hard is it when you have kids and you don't have a way to, you don't feel like you're providing for them enough, but then you're not being taken care of at all?
Oh, I've been there. I remember, I look back at old pictures and I'm like, I might have looked like I was okay. I looked unhealthy, for one. I just let myself kind of go. I remember looking back at pictures and I'm like, man, my mental state was so bad then. It seemed like it wasn't, but it was. I mean, it was just bad. Because I didn't take care of myself mentally. I was always putting others in front of me that I forgot to pour back into myself. And so I'm a big believer on you can't pour from an empty cup. I've had to learn that. And I've just kind of learned, and this is a shout out to my friend Mark. He told me, when you start looking at like the abundance mindset and people manifesting and stuff like that, it took me a while to really grasp and understand that. And I started putting myself in rooms with bigger people that were doing bigger things. And I just kind of like started watching what they did. And they had, they gave to their families, like people that are really doing it right. They give to their families, they provide for their families, but they're also taking care of themselves. And I had to learn that it's okay to take care of myself, and it's okay to show yourself grace. Grace was the biggest thing that I did not give myself. And I remember I was sitting across from a business coach and a personal friend of mine, and she was like, you have got to forgive yourself. And I'm like, for what? And I'm like, oh, everything. All the mom guilt, everything. And and I started bawling. I was in the middle of the
Yeah.
Virgin Hotel up there eating, like bawling at the table. I'm like, people are going to think that I just had a mental breakdown. And it was just like, it was just such a burden lifted off of me because I didn't even realize that. And
Yeah.
I was like, and she's like, you need to write in the mirror she's like, you need to say for yourself audibly in the mirror that you are worth it, that you have grace, that you forgive yourself for anything that you feel like you've done wrong, and just let it go. And I'm like, that's awesome. And then my friend Mark, not too long after that, he told me this a while ago. He's like, you got to understand that life's working for you, not against you. And I'm like,
that's good.
That is good. And I'm like, I need to like just really dig into that. So I really started thinking about it here, especially recently, because 2025, new year, new me, right? And I was like, life is happening for me, not against me. So anytime some inner mind inconvenience would happen in my life, I would just be like, okay, God, this is working out for me, not against me, and there's a reason that's happening. And if you look at it like that and you start shifting your mindset and start making it more positive, you're going to start like leaning into a lot of bigger things, a lot of bigger opportunities, and your mental health and your physical health is going to be a lot better. So just the mom guilt is always going to be there. The dad guilt's there too. It's a real thing for dads too.
Sure.
But you just have to be like, okay, I'm giving myself some grace. I've done a lot today. It's okay that I sit here and watch a show for 30 minutes before I go to bed, or just scroll TikTok for 30 minutes before I go to bed. The
Have
kids
your time.
Have your time. The kids are fed. They're taken care of. It's time for me to relax.
Yeah. And on a really, really deep level, you made me think when you were talking about that, when we both, me and my wife Stacy, went through counseling, after Ryan passed away, we learned a lot. And I come from a family where emotions were suppressed.
Yes.
Like I saw my dad cry like once or twice while he was on this earth, and I didn't share emotions, talk about anything. Just, it was all kept inside. And Stacy talked a lot about, forgiving different parts of her life. Like she said, I need to go back and forgive 20-year-old Stacy for what she went through and how, that kind of stuff. And at first, when she first started talking to me, I'm just like, it was like a foreign language. And then when you get around people, like what you were talking about, because I wasn't around those kind of people growing up. I wasn't around those kind of people, young adulthood. Yeah. So now that I've tried to reach out and get around, better crowds, better people that are trying to improve themselves, I'm really starting to learn, okay, I've got to take care of myself. Because I'm really bad about that. I mean, I'm in the middle of that transition right now, trying to figure out, okay, it's not that hard to take my fitness seriously, but I always put it on the back burner. And I'm like, it wouldn't be that hard to do it, but I've got to start doing it, you know? And I get accused of that a whole lot. Like, you've got to take care of yourself a little bit. And I was talking to my son last night. He's just been sick for a week or so. And I'm like, you got to go ahead and go to the doctor. And he's like, yeah, I feel like they're just going to tell me, just let it run its course, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but let me tell you, and I never had this perspective before. I'm like, now I'm 50. No matter how hard you work, how much money you make, what you try to do, if you're not here to enjoy it, it's all for nothing.
That's exactly right.
Like if you don't take care of yourself, you can't spend money, you can't get more time with your kids or grandkids, you're not going to be here. So that's why people that are successful on that level, I went to a 3-day retreat that we had with CMG this past weekend, and it was kind of funny. All the top producers that were on all the panels, it kept coming up with like routine, but it was always take care of myself in the morning, whether it was fitness, prayer time, sitting down eating with the kids before they go to school. It was so regimented that part of the day. If the rest of the part of the day didn't work out, it'll be all right. But I'm going to stay healthy so I can stay on this earth. I'm going to have my time with God, and I'm going to have, if it's time with family, that part's going to be carved out. And it just, you could see, like you said, look at pictures. You can see the happiness and stuff with what they're doing with their life. And it's kind of funny. I just did that this past weekend, and I'm like, all right, Jamie, we need to do some real looking in the mirror and be like, I need to put this first and see what it changes in my life.
It does. And I really feel like, and I have a lot of my friends that are fit, and I'm like, gosh, you washboard ab person. I'm like, sign me up for the tummy tuck. I'll act like I went to the gym every day, But anyways, making minor changes, like even in your diet. Like, I mean, I'll have really bad brain fog. Holidays were like, people wonder why they're in like depression during the holidays. Well, look at what we're eating. We're eating like complete garbage. And I was eating terrible. And I was like, I've got to do something different. And I'll have an event coming up in February. And I was like, okay, that's my motivation to get my butt healthier. And this is like a week into it, and my clarity is there. I've got energy again. I mean, minus you're going to be tired. You're a parent, young kids. But I mean, I have a lot more energy, and I'm not so beat down and almost like depressed, right? Because it messes with your psyche a little bit when you're got a lot of sludge in your body, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is, if anything, I could be a better mom, a better spouse if I just get my butt to eating better food. It's worth it to me, you know, or getting up to going to the gym. You just feel like you're doing something, you know, for yourself when you go do it.
It's kind of funny just getting up early. So my granddaughter's been with us a couple nights, and my wife's out of town, so she has to be at school at 7. So I've gotten up a little bit earlier. My daughter's at home getting her ready, and I'm like, if I actually get here at this time, man, I get so much more done. And it's like, why don't I just get up this time every day, or even get up early, but I don't really do anything.
Yes.
It's kind of like getting up with a plan.
Yes.
I think that's why going to the gym or having your quiet time, it kind of is that first task that you do in the day. And then you're like, well, I'm doing stuff now. I'm up and going.
Yeah.
But it's easy to kind of be awake and just like, I'll hang out at the house for a little while. I got that appointment at 9. Yeah. So I'll just I'll stay here another hour and I'll get going. So easy.
Yeah. And that's like the ADD brain too. You know, like we joke around, like me and my fiance, because I'm like, if I know I got to be somewhere at 3, it's like, I got to be somewhere at 3. I got to be somewhere at 3 all day long. And I'm like, get over it. You got a whole day that you're still going to do stuff, you know, and you just got to push through it. But that's one thing that like I'm really leaning into. If you, I think it's older and getting wiser when you get older. But if you look at like really high producers, their day is early and they're usually done and they're in bed by 8:30, 9:30 because they go to bed early, because they get up early, because they do things. I'm more of a day person. Like I joke around with Travis and other people, like I'd rather just do day Nashville, call it day Nashville. I'd rather be day Nashville any day than not Nashville, because it's so much more fun for me. Yeah. I get it. You can go have a great time. You can do things. You can do your work, go work out, all the things, and be done and in bed in the evening time and ready to go again the next day. So. Yeah.
You get up and do a couple things, and then you swear like at noon, you're like, it's got to be 5.
It's got to be, that's what I feel like. I'm like, it's only 8 in the morning. What?
Like you started at 5:30. Yeah. Like the day, it gets late fast. You're like, what? Yeah.
You get so much more time. And you find yourself eating lunch at 10:30, 11. You're like, oh, that's how these people do it. Yeah. You got your meat and 3 out yet? Yeah.
But I learned that a long time ago. If you're going to do a business lunch, 11 o'clock.
Yes.
If you want to avoid the crowds, you want to get a seat, get in and out, go to 11 o'clock. And do not do
2nd Avenue, 12th South on Thursdays and Fridays. I found that out the hard way. I took a client to Bar Taco on a Thursday, and I'm like, oh, the Woo girls are out today. Yeah. What was I thinking?
It's already started.
It's already started. I should have done it earlier this week. Yeah.
I just had a thing pop in my head when I was reading a little bit about Unstoppable too. I think it said something about you're an author.
I can't believe I'm saying that. That? So I've always wanted to write a book, and I was like, okay, big hairy dream or whatever you want to call it. And I had a lady reach out to me, and she's like, I'm doing a collective piece. And I had to Google what a collective piece was. I didn't even know what that was. I was like, oh, it's kind of like a chicken noodle soup book. Okay, I got you. I'm there now. Yeah. Of women that are doing big things in Nashville. And she's like, I love what you're doing with Unstoppable. Would you want to be one of the authors for it? And I'm like, absolutely. So I got to meet some incredible women, and we did a collective piece. It came out this past September and hit Amazon. It's all, you can buy it anywhere. It's called Slaying Nashville. Okay. And we kind of give a brief bio and a little message. All the authors do when they're in there. A really strong group of women that are like really leaving their mark on the world. Wow. And a lot of them are friends. And actually, I just reminded myself, I got to message one back that I hadn't messaged back in 3 days. Talk about ADD. Anyways, but so yeah, that one, that's really good. And then it was on my heart for a while to do a children's book and kind of tied into Unstoppable. So I did Unstoppable You. I dedicated it to my kids. Okay. And that one, I'm rebranding that one because it came out and I didn't like the design of it. I love the cover, but I want it to be like a hardback for the kids and stuff. So we're kind of rebranding that one, but that one is completed and done. And then I'm finishing, I don't want to say it's an autobiography or whatever you want to call it, but it's a little bit about my life, but I don't want to get too personal, because my kids, they're still young and we're still co-parenting and things too. So, so it's a little bit about my life, but it's also, about being unstoppable and mindset, and it's called Judge Not. Okay. And so I can't wait for that one to come out. if I could just sit down maybe in an Airbnb for a couple of weeks and just get it, not a couple of weeks straight, but just kind of sit down and focus, I could get that out and done. That's what I had to do with the collective piece. I had to rent an Airbnb for a weekend. I got away, wrote it, and then submitted it. But those are 3 things that are coming out, and then we got some events that are coming up, and when you think that you don't have
lot.
nothing going on, there's always something that comes up in your plate.
You got some major stuff going on.
Yeah. So I'm very blessed by that, though.
That's incredible. So before we get out of here, tell people where they can find stuff, find you, follow you, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, we always push Instagram because that's the least thing I've been pushing. So I'm pushing Megan_615 VIP. TikTok's my biggest following. We'll see if it's still
There's
around.
a lot of question marks, right?
Yeah, a lot of question marks. It's also Megan_615 VIP. You can also find me under Unstoppable on Facebook and Megan Ferrell. And then You Are Unstoppable. I have a website as well. So just go to my Instagram. There's a link tree, and you can find everything on my Instagram. So
awesome.
Well,
you're doing some amazing things.
Thank you.
I'm really glad that I got to learn more about it.
I'm so glad you had me. Thank you.
I'm definitely going to tell people to donate clothes, show up at events.
Thank you.
Hire you to speak.
Oh, I would love that.
Whatever we can. So thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Yeah.
You guys check out Megan's stuff. Go to her Instagram. She's doing some big things. I'm sure you heard some of the stuff she talked about today. I'm sure she's got a lot more stories to tell, a lot more stuff to talk about. Follow her, check her out, and we'll see you next time. Thanks so much.